Heyo, DuckOfTheStarz here, back at it again with another video. If you can't tell from either the layout or the title of the video, we are going to be revisiting the game collection type video. That seemed to do very well. You guys seem to like that quite a bit. I had a couple people ask if I could do another one. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. I will probably leave out most peripherals this time around. I don't have all of them with me on hand at the moment. Different from last year's video, I will probably end up going by generation rather than by company, just because things have changed around so much and it just makes a little more sense. So without further ado, I'm going to show off the first two consoles I have here, sort of one and the same, so they're being shown off together, and that's the Famicom and the Nintendo Entertainment System. Look quite different, but in essence they are the same console. This being the Japanese version, this being the North American and PAL version. That being not from Japan myself, of course, the only game I have is actually a Famicom Disk System game. I showed it off last year too, and it is Super Mario Bros. 2, or The Lost Levels, as it would be called here in the States. Now, in terms of NES games, not much has changed. I don't think anything has changed, actually. So I still have Bandai Golf. Battletoads still in a case. Got a Dr. Mario. Excitebike. Two versions of Super Mario Bros. And Duck Hunt. The original, Classic 2, and actually Super Mario Bros. Duck Hunt and World Class Track Meet, of which you can't play without a certain peripheral. Next we have Super Mario Bros. 2, Super Mario Bros. 3, getting all the classics in here. We got The Legend of Zelda, the original, not the second. A nice gold cartridge, and Top Gun, both 1 and 2. Alright, and I'll be right back with the Super Nintendo. Now moving on to my Super Nintendo Super Famicom collection. Of course, this is same kind of deal as the original Famicom, original NES, where this is the Japanese version, this is the American version. The PAL version is actually a mixture of which, in which is called the Super Nintendo, but has the same style as the Japanese version, which I actually honestly like a lot smoother. As with last year, I have not changed this collection very much, at least for the Japanese version, in which I have the Japanese version of Donkey Kong Country and the original Mario Kart. However, the American games that I have increased quite a bit, thanks to a good friend of mine donating all of his games to my collection. So here is actually the American version of Donkey Kong Country. I have no idea how I'm gonna throw these, maybe like this. We have Final Fantasy, Mythic Quest. Okay, not to make much noise here. King of Dragons. Capcom game right there. We have Madden 96. No retro game collection is complete without one of these. Complete in box, I have Mario's Time Machine. I do believe I showed this off last year, and I did say it was quite fun. I still stand by that. That's a hill I'm going to die on, and maybe a potential video in the future. Let's see. Then I have a sequel to that, Mario is Missing. Also very fun game if you're into history. Mega Man X. Original Mortal Kombat. The NHL Stanley Cup. A lot of these sports games. Making sure the rest of these don't fall over and make a lot of noise. PGA Tour Golf. That is one of the issues with the Super Nintendo cartridges, is that they do not stack very well. But they do stand quite well if you don't bother them. Okay, Shaq Fu. Another fantastic game. Super Nintendo. Super Mario All-Stars. I do have actually two copies of Super Mario World. One is an earlier copy, one is a later copy. Of course, still the same game. Still absolutely fantastic. I have Super Empire Strikes Back. Into all the Star Wars games. Of course, right afterwards, I have a Super Star Wars Return of the Jedi. Of course, on the label, it's just called Super Return of the Jedi, but the game is officially Super Star Wars Return of the Jedi. Then we have Tasmania. This actually has one of those old a video store labels on it. I find those to be quite fun. I know some people aren't so fond of that. And last but not least, I have Yoshi's Island. This one I actually have a lot of trouble placing in my collection because the full title is Super Mario World 2 Yoshi's Island. However, since most people refer to it as Yoshi's Island, I find that it's best at the end of the list. If you're also a Super Nintendo collector, please let me know what you do. I would be happy to hear any kind of feedback in that manner. And at this point, we're going to take a break actually from the Nintendo collection and take a peek at Sega Genesis. And we're back with the newest member, technically, of my collection, which is the Model 1 Sega Genesis. I believe I did show this off last year. Of course, not with the Model 1 Sega CD. Sega Genesis did have 3 versions. I only have the first one, and I figured it was only appropriate if I had the first model to go with the first model Sega CD. The other of which is not a disk drive, but instead, I believe it's called a top loader. And I'll go ahead and show off the one game I have for that, which is Bill Walsh College Football. Again, being the newest member of my game collection, I figure it's fair that I do not have all of the fantastic games that come on Sega CD. Otherwise, I do have Garfield Caught in the Act. Very fun game. I do have NBA Jam, and I do have actually cases for the rest of my Sega Genesis games. One thing, I was always a Nintendo fan growing up, but one thing I have to give Sega is that these cases are fantastic. I have another copy of Shaq Fu, this time on Genesis. And I have both Sonic 1 and 2. Unfortunately, I cannot claim yet that I have Sonic 3 or Sonic and Knuckles. That's definitely in the works. And now, I don't believe I've been going chronologically. I may tune that up in editing. I will go chronologically from here, and thus I will show you my Sony PlayStation next. Due to the underwhelming nature of my collection for these two consoles, I figured it would be smart just to showcase them both at one time. So this is the Sony PlayStation 1 and the Sega Saturn. Just keep in mind, for those of you who aren't very well versed in gaming, this is a wildly successful console. This is a catastrophic failure of a console. 2 separate companies entirely. That being said, I'm going to start with showing my PlayStation 1 games. The first one being Bloody Roar. Notice I don't have them in a case. It's kind of hard to find some of these in a full case. It's a cool way to show off the black discs. Something that Sony did not do since then. So, I do have a Gran Turismo demo disc. This was around the time when demo discs were becoming popular. And Medal of Honor Underground. And that's it for PS1. In terms of Sega Saturn, it's not too much better. The only 2 games I have are Gex. Again, not complete in box. That is a printed cover. And actually complete in box is Myst. Sega continued to use these. These are a little bit more brittle, but they continue to use plastic over cardboard, which is what Nintendo used. And that's what I'll be showing you next with the Nintendo 64. In my opinion, my Nintendo 64 collection is the coolest part of my collection, specifically because of this right here, the Nintendo 64 disk drive. I was able to show this off last year, although I do have a little bit more to show off in this presentation here. First, though, let's look at the original Nintendo 64 games, of which I have quite a few now. Let me put them on in alphabetical order, starting with 007, The World Is Not Enough. This was not the only 007 game on Nintendo 64, nor was it the most popular, but we'll get to that. We have Donkey Kong 64, Gex 64, Enter the Gecko. This would also be known as Gex 2 in on every other platform. GoldenEye 007. This is the one that everyone knows, the one made by Rareware. Jet Force Gemini, another Rareware game. You'll notice when people talk about Nintendo 64 games, they'll bring up a lot of games by Rare, just because of how damn good they were. We have a Kirby 64, the Crystal Shards. We have Madden Football 64. I believe next will be, yep, Madden 2000. Again, every retro collection's got to have some of these. Mario Kart 64. Definite pickup. Perfect Dark. Again, another game by Rare. You'll notice pattern with those. Paper Mario, one of the last games of the Nintendo 64. Also one of the heaviest. And in my case, one that still has the Blockbuster rental sticker on it. Super Mario 64. Unfortunately, this cartridge is a little faded. That is entirely my fault. And The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time. In terms of Japanese games, because you can run Japanese games on this console with an adapter or through modding, I do have the Japanese version of the original Super Smash Bros. And a special edition of The Legend of Zelda: Majora's Mask. Now for 64 DD games. I had 4 last year. I have 5 this year to show off. This will be Mario Artist Communication Kit, Mario Artist Paint Studio, and this one unfortunately does not come with the mouse when I got it. And this will be Mario Artist Polygon Studio. And the last one in this series is Mario Artist Talent Studio. And this one does actually come with the, I believe that's a modem, although I did have to purchase that one separately. Lastly, in my 64DD collection, I now am the proud owner of SimCity 64. Hopefully in the years to come, I will be able to showcase more of these games, although due to the hike in price of all video games, these games are becoming exponentially more and more expensive, like reaching $200, $300 for games that were originally $60 or $70 a couple of years back. That being said, that is the end of my 5th generation collection, so we will be moving on to the 6th generation. Now, I thought I would bring in the Sega Dreamcast here as an honorable mention. In fact, it is the only console in my collection of which I have no games for. Shockingly enough, with all the games I own, I couldn't bring myself to buy a single Sega Dreamcast game. Of course, there are so many good ones out there. I could make an entire video on all the ones I've been recommended, all the ones I've played that I could recommend, but I just don't have any Dreamcast games with me right now. This was in fact Sega's last console. It didn't, or actually did sell better than the Sega Saturn. Still considered a failure, at least from a sales perspective. And the next console I'll show you will be the reason for the Sega's console demise.
I see you've gone ahead and brought in a pro for this next one.
Indeed I have. This next console, the PlayStation 2, was actually my girlfriend's first console. I figured I would use this opportunity to give her sort of a shout out. She just started her own channel. I will put both the link in the description, and I will hopefully put a tag or something in this video so that you can check out her videos. She does lots of gaming videos, posts lots of cat videos, since I have 2 cats. Yeah, just go ahead and check her out. And otherwise, we're going to go ahead and get started. First game here is 007, Everything or Nothing. 13.
These are all games that I haven't played, so I don't have anything to say on these.
Okay. Devil May Cry 2. Dead or Alive 2, Hardcore. Enter the Matrix. Final Fantasy X. And I guess while we're at it, Final Fantasy X-2. Final Fantasy 12. Grand Theft Auto 3. Grand Theft Auto Vice City. in a lovely Xbox case, Medal of Honor European Assault. Metal Gear Solid 2 Sons of Liberty. Onimusha Warlords. We're getting into your expertise here. Spyro Enter the Dragonfly.
So when I was a kid, I played this game all of the time. I highly suggest this game if you have a PS2. Graphics, obviously, I don't know when this game was actually 2003 it looks like. Yeah. So the graphics aren't the best, but it is a very nostalgic game for me, and it is one of the ones that I highly suggest. And I think the next one is also one that I will highly suggest.
And that would be Star Wars Battlefront.
This is probably my favorite game. I was a PS2 gal growing up. I loved the PS2. I love the PS2 as well. But this game is probably my favorite game ever, which is, you know, a hot take for some people, but I love it even though the graphics are terrible. I'm not very much a shooter person, but this is probably one of my favorite games overall, and I highly suggest.
This one will actually come straight from her collection. Pack 2.
I played this when I was a kid all the time. It has a lot of nostalgia. There's a lot of storyline that is involved in it. But this is probably a little bit lower on my list of suggestions, although it does have nostalgia.
I had to look this one up. Terrible story behind this, but this is Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon 2. I originally had the cover for it, but I did have to toss it. And last but not least, The Legend of Spyro: A New Beginning.
I also played this one, and it was very much a lot of my childhood. So there is a lot of these games in PS2 that have become very much my childhood.
And that will conclude it for my PlayStation 2 collection. Next, I will move on to GameCube. And of course, Xbox after that, wrapping up the 6th generation. Thank you for coming on. I know this was kind of short notice. And again, guys, please go consider subscribing to her channel, which will be Medieval Tom. Just checking her out after you have finished watching this video.
All right, thank you guys all so much.
Moving back into my area of expertise, we have the Nintendo GameCube, which was one of my 2 childhood game consoles. I should say one of my 2 first childhood game consoles. As you can see, it does have the silver Game Boy player, which is only available in Japan. To go with that, I do have the Game Boy Player disc in a Japanese case. Of course, internationally, it came in these cases as well. But unfortunately, no manual as you would usually find. Otherwise, my games include the original Animal Crossing, Donkey Kong Jungle Beat, Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire, Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. You can kind of tell what I liked growing up. Lego Star Wars, the video game, and of course Lego Star Wars 2, the original trilogy, which would combine later to become Lego Star Wars: The Complete Saga, one of my favorite video games of all time, and I know that's shared among many people. Luigi's Mansion, and a fantastic game. All of these are fantastic. Madden 2005, right as I say it too. Mario Kart Double Dash. Actually, the Mario Kart game I've probably played the least, despite having it in easier access than a lot of the other ones for me. Mario Party 5. Any of the GameCube Mario Parties are absolutely fantastic, a blast to play with friends. Metroid Prime, and of course Metroid Prime 2 Echoes. Notice I still have quite a few stickers on those. You have to spend some time getting those off. Pac-Man Versus and Pac-Man World 2. This is one of the rare 2-disc games. I shouldn't say rare, uncommon, more like one of my favorite games of all time, Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door. If you can get your hands on one of these, I know that these are very expensive nowadays. If you can get your hands on one of these, I highly recommend this game. Following that up with Shadow the Hedgehog. Newest addition to my collection, the original Pikmin, as well as that Pikmin 2. Spider-Man. I am getting a little close to the edge there. Spider-Man. And Spider-Man 2, despite being a movie game, this is actually considered one of the best movie titles of all time. I do see people highly rate this game in terms of being, of course, a movie-based game. Otherwise, to wrap it up, we have Star Fox Adventures, Super Mario Sunshine, one of my favorite games. I know that the Super Mario fan base is pretty divided over this one as to whether it lives up to its predecessor and its successors. I would say it does. Super Smash Bros. Melee, a must-have on GameCube, and probably the reason that most people have a GameCube. And The Legend of Zelda Wind Waker. That'll do it for my GameCube collection. I'll be right back with my Xbox collection, which, unlike this one, has actually grown. Here is my original Xbox. I know I showed this off last year, and my collection I do not believe was all that impressive. Has expanded a little bit, but Xbox in general has expanded a lot more than I anticipated that it would, as I've moved more away from Nintendo and more towards Xbox when choosing my primary console to play on. Without further ado, we have FIFA World Cup Germany 2006, Blitz the League, Call of Duty Finest Hour, Conquer Live and Reloaded. Fantastic game, by the way. If you can find this on either Xbox or Nintendo 64, absolutely recommend you pick it up. But be warned, it is very, very immature. We have Destroy All Humans, another fantastic game, very comedic game. ESPN Football, ESPN NBA 2K5, Fable, Forza Motorsport, of course the go-to racing game on Xbox, and a fantastic one at that. Of course, Halo Combat Evolved, the go-to game in general on Xbox, or maybe most would consider that Halo 2, as I see most fans believe Halo 2 is a better game. And the Halo 2 multiplayer map pack. Not going to do you much good nowadays, but this is how you would download DLC back in the early 2000s. Okay, Madden 06. NBA Live 06. Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic. This is a recent pickup of mine, and I am very excited to play this for the very first time. Anyone who has an Xbox likes to, or loves to rant about how great Knights of the Old Republic is. So, based off of what I've been told by other people, I would highly recommend this game. And another copy of Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon, of course, with the actual box art. I do have 3 special games before I get into my 360 collection, and it'll be the 3 Burger King games, which actually function both on 360 and original Xbox. So here we have Big Bumpin', Pocket Bike Racer, and Sneak King. These were all games that would come with your Burger King meal, interestingly enough, and a quite strange remnant of video game history. Before getting into the Xbox 360 collection, I will warn you guys, this is the collection that I have actually expended upon most this last year, as I've played a lot more Xbox than I have Nintendo. So the stack of games you see me here, this is actually coming from the kitchen floor up to here. So if Xbox 360 isn't your thing, maybe skip ahead like 10 minutes or so. I assume that's about how long I'm about to take showcasing all of these games. without further ado, let's get into it. All right. I also want to say before I start, I did have to sort this pretty quickly before making this video. So if it isn't in perfect alphabetical order, don't get mad at me. This is done in probably like 5 minutes. But let's get started. First off, we have Army of Two, 40th Day. Assassin's Creed 4, Black Flag. Battlefield 3, Limited Edition. BioShock 1. Blazing Angels, Squadrons of World War II. And Blazing Angels 2, Secret Missions of World War II. We have Borderlands. Burnout Revenge. Call of Duty Advanced Warfare. Lots of COD games on here. Can't have a 360 without Call of Duty. Call of Duty Black Ops. And most particularly, Call of Duty Black Ops 2. Everyone I've talked to, we all seem to agree that Black Ops 2 is the best, followed to a close second by one of the ones coming up here. Call of Duty Ghosts. Call of Duty Modern Warfare. I should say Modern Warfare 2 is the one that most people seem to think is one of the best. I do have the other Modern Warfare games, as you'll see shortly. Next up, we have Crackdown. Crackdown 2. Both games, I believe, are free now on the Xbox Store, on the Microsoft Store, I should say. Fallout 3. Fallout New Vegas. Again, one of those games I still haven't gotten to, but certainly one that my friends will not shut up about. So it is high on my list of to plays. We have Far Cry 3. Gears of War. Gears of War 2. And you guessed it, Gears of War 3. Okay. Classic Grand Theft Auto 5. Get into Halo. Halo 3, probably one of the best Halo games. That anyone who has a 360 definitely recommends you play this game. There's also Halo 3 ODST. Halo 4, shocker. Really cool version of Halo 4. Actually, I have the version released for the Chinese audience. Halo Combat Evolved Anniversary Edition. Halo Reach. And actually the Chinese version of Halo Reach as well. I'm very lucky to have found these. Favorite part of my 360 collection. And the strategy game Halo Wars. We have a GameStop case, but History, Great Battles, Medieval. Kinect Adventures, which does mean I have a Kinect. I'm not going to show it, as again, I don't really want to show off many peripherals this time around. LA Noire, made by Rockstar. Lego Indiana Jones, The Original Adventures. Loved these Lego games as a kid, and probably one of my favorite games of all time. Lego Star Wars, The Complete Saga. You'll see this isn't the only version I have of that. Lego Star Wars 3, The Clone Wars. And the sports games, Madden 07. Do a lightning round of these. Madden 08. Madden 10. Madden 12. Madden 13. Madden 15. 16. And Madden 25. It may shock you guys, actually, that I am not a big sports fan, football in particular. We have Mass Effect, Mass Effect 2, Mass Effect 3, Metal Gear Solid HD Collection, one of the newer additions to my collection, one I'm very excited to start playing soon. Michael Jackson, The Experience, another Kinect game, you can tell via the purple box. Minecraft Story Mode. This is the Season Pass disc, of which I have that for Minecraft Story Mode Season 2 as well. Do be warned, since Telltale Games is now defunct, you cannot buy these, or you cannot download these from the Microsoft Store, which means not only that the only versions of Minecraft Story Mode Season 1 are going to be for Xbox One, PS4, Switch, in which they had the complete collection. The only way you can play Minecraft Story Mode Season 2 is on the Nintendo Switch version, which came with all episodes, and you didn't have to download any extras. We have Minecraft Xbox 360 Edition, NASCAR 09, NPPL Championship Paintball 2000, Portal 2, Red Dead Redemption, Red Dead Redemption, Undead Nightmare, Resident Evil 5, The Elder Scrolls 5, Skyrim, another all-time classic right there. Although I don't believe the 360 is the best place to play that nowadays. The Orange Box. And last, but certainly not least, Tomb Raider. That is my pretty hefty Xbox 360 collection. Going with chronological order, I believe next we will be looking at the Nintendo Wii. But before I do, I realize I have not mentioned that this bottom 360 is an original model. It was very prone to what was called the Red Ring of Death, which would basically mean this system overheats and you can't use it anymore. This is one I actually saved from that, although it is still in the repair process. If you can't tell by like the missing eject button here. This is my personal 360. It is a slim model. Oh, there go my cats. And there was in fact a third model called the 360E, looked a lot like the Xbox One, which you'll obviously see in just a couple minutes. But in the meantime, let's get to the Nintendo Wii. Now, I'll be completely honest, I have no idea how much my Nintendo Wii collection has changed in the last year. I don't think it's very much, but we'll find out. Anyways, this is my original Revolution Model 1 Wii. A little bit of dirt there. I guess I'll be cleaning that off tonight. And this is actually a Wii Mini. It was exclusive to Canada for a while before coming to the US. It is a top-loading console with no Wi-Fi capability, so it's not very good. Had all the potential to be a really nice addition to the Wii family. Nowadays, it's just a pretty nice-looking paperweight. This is actually my first ever console, and so my game collection will certainly reflect that with my choice of games. Starting with Bakugan Battle Brawlers, Blazing Angels, Squadrons of World War II. There was in fact a Wii edition. Club Penguin Game Day. Every Club Penguin game is a fantastic game. That is a hill, yet again, that I will die on. Cars Mater National Championship. Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows, Part 1. Lego Pirates of the Caribbean, the video game. Lego Star Wars: The Complete Saga. This is the first video game I ever owned, and one I would be devastated to lose. Therefore, it stays safe with me. We have Link's crossbow training. Unfortunately, I have the part of the case ripped off because it was cardboard. So it happens, Nintendo, when you use cardboard. Littlest Pet Shop. This game was actually my sister's. She gave it to me in order to expand my collection. Really fits in the style of the Wii. Madagascar carts, for example. Great way of showing what the Wii really hosted in terms of content. Madden 09 all play. I believe, yes. A little deceitful. This says Madden 10. In fact, it is Madden 11. We have Mario Kart Wii. Okay, Mario Party 9. Unfortunately, not in any actual DVD case. We have Metroid Other M. We have Shonen Jump, Naruto Shippuden, Flash of Ninja 3 Evolution. As if most games weren't a mouthful to read already. Very cool game I have. Not really a game. I actually have a Netflix disc on Wii. I believe I showed this off last year too. But it comes in the little red envelope. I really need to find a better way to treat this. It is getting a little bit folded. It is a piece of history right here, though. Of course, I believe the PS3 had a version as well. Maybe I should look into that. We have New Super Mario Bros. Wii. Sonic and the Black Knight. Sonic going through his edgy phase around this time. We have Star Wars: The Force Unleashed. Star Wars: The Force Unleashed 2. The Mario 25th Anniversary Super Mario All-Stars Limited Edition. Unfortunately not kept in good condition. That's something I'll have to work on. Super Mario Galaxy, one of my favorite games of all time. Of course, followed right by Super Mario Galaxy 2. Couldn't just play the one of them as a kid. I do have Super Paper Mario. Playing this right after Thousand Year Door was kind of a mistake for me. I didn't really get into it as much as the Thousand Year Door. However, in terms of story, it is fantastic. It's just a little bit different, and after enjoying the style of Thousand Year Door so much, I just couldn't find myself the same enjoyment out of this game. You have Super Smash Bros. Brawl. Tony Hawk's Downhill Jam. Right on. Wii Fit and Wii Fit Plus. Really just the same game with extra content. And last but not least, another game from my sister is Zuzu Pets featuring the Wild Bunch. I believe from here I will go on to PS3 following chronological order, and that will wrap up the 7th generation of consoles. One thing that's always fascinated me about PS3 and PS3 collecting is the consoles themselves. Obviously, these two look like they are exactly the same with maybe minor differences. This one having a silver lining, this one not so. But these are almost two entirely different consoles. All these threes are messing me up. However, there were 3 revisions officially of the PlayStation 3. These two are both what are considered the fat model, but this one, for instance, can play PlayStation 2 games. This one cannot. This one only has 20 gigabytes of storage. I believe this one has 120. Just to put it in perspective how confusing everything is, and I think that's the best way to describe the PlayStation 3 is confusing, because Sony got a little too cocky when making this console. They thought everyone was going to flock to them. Nobody was going to program for Xbox, and when they made their console super confusing to learn how to program on, everyone just flocked to Xbox instead. And so for the longest time, the PlayStation 3 was sort of the laughing stock of the gaming community. Sony, however, did a very good job recovering their prestige just in time for the launch of the PlayStation 4 in 2012, I believe, or 2013. Let's take a look at the games, though, since that's why we're here. First, I have Batman Arkham City. Call of Duty Ghosts again. Admittedly, I forgot that I had it on Xbox 360 and bought it on PS3. I do have Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. I believe you can guess that this will then be Call of Duty Modern Warfare. We have Darksiders 2, actually still in packaging. We have Dark Souls 2. Sworn I had the original Dark Souls on here as well. Oh wow. We have Gran Turismo 5 Prologue. Kind of feels like there are 2 discs in here. Maybe, yeah, I'm just stupid. We have the actual Gran Turismo 5. Guitar Hero Legends of Rock. Unfortunately, this looks like it was used by some Guitar Hero wannabe. You can see all the scratches in the plastic. I don't know how it got to this condition. I frankly don't want to know. Following that, we have Guitar Hero World Tour. Of course, this does mean I have the guitars, but I don't have them with me at the moment. They are in a different location. I do have Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance, Metal Gear Solid 4, Minecraft PlayStation 3 edition. There's a common theme. You'll see I have a lot of copies of Minecraft. NCAA Football 11. I have NCAA Football 12. NCAA Football 13. Fortunately, I do not have 14 yet. I do have Sonic 06, once again in a rental DVD case. Bought it as a joke. Sincerely regret it. Lastly, I have Uncharted Drake's Fortune, Uncharted 2 Among Thieves, and Uncharted 3 Drake's Deception. I actually have quite fond memories of playing this in high school with one of my close friends. Fantastic game and multiplayer. Lots of hours wasted just screwing around, killing each other. Of course, as you can see, my PlayStation 3 collection is lacking in comparison to Xbox 360. It does improve, of course, with PS4. But before we get there, we do have to explore Nintendo's worst-selling console of all time, the Nintendo Wii U. The Wii U remains to many a divisive console. For me, it's a testament to my childhood as I grew up with this thing. To others, it is a testament to how the big N can still fuck up pretty miserably. Most of its games are fairly controversial, although I enjoyed quite a few of them again growing up. But without further ado, let's just get into it. Maybe I'll show some of the more controversial ones. Perfect starter is Animal Crossing Amiibo Festival. Quite the controversial game. $60 for an incomplete Mario Party. Well, it had that too. Assassin's Creed 3. It is one of the few third-party titles Nintendo got, along with Call of Duty Black Ops 2. Unfortunately, this is not the original case. Hyrule Warriors. And Lego Batman 3 Beyond Gotham. Lego Marvel Superheroes. Played that one quite a bit growing up, along with Lego The Hobbit. It was still a fantastic place to play Lego games, evidently. You didn't get much third-party support after that, which you'll kind of start seeing here. Like Mario Kart 8, the best-selling game on Wii U. Mario Party 10, another quite controversial title. We got Minecraft Wii U Edition. We got New Super Mario Bros. U. And to top that off, we also have New Super Luigi U, which was a special release. Completely separate game. Honestly, quite a bit more fun. Nice little green box around it. An unmarked copy of Nintendo Land. That was one of the few launch titles the Wii U got. Paper Mario Color Splash. Again, a divisive game in the Paper Mario community. Most people tend to not like it. Pikmin 3. Realize I'm getting a lot of glare here. I'll try and make sure you guys can see it. Pokken Tournament, which would release 1 year later on Nintendo Switch. That video is coming too. Got Splatoon, Nintendo's first new IP in a while. Super Mario 3D World, also one of the more well-known games. Super Mario Maker. Of course, this is the day one edition. I think actually all editions came in this box. A little bit annoying. We got Super Smash Brothers for Wii U. The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess HD. Xenoblade Chronicles X, the one game I still hear people asking to port to Switch. I guess the only one I can kind of see as fair, because this thing goes for quite a bit online. Wii Sports Club, kind of same deal here. Interesting about this one is it has it doesn't have the typical North American logo on the top. You see there's like a little blue curve there. Game doesn't have that for whatever reason. We have Yoshi's Woolly World. And Zombie U. This is one I hope actually to expand quite a bit in the coming weeks and months, I should say, because the Nintendo eShop is closing on this thing. If you're watching this before March 2023, get on that, see what games you can get before it closes, because it'll be gone. Like, there are so many good games, so many bad games too, that'll be just gone for good after this eShop closes. Now let's move on to a more successful console. When I say more successful consoles, I do mean more successful than the Wii U, but that doesn't mean that this console, the Xbox One, had or didn't have any problems of its own. In fact, it had quite a few of them. This is the original model right here. It was known for being big, clunky, overpriced, and it had a lot of issues with Microsoft supporting it, including the fact that they tried to get rid of game sharing, as well as the fact that they required this thing to be online constantly. Now, they did back most of these policies up by the end of the Xbox's life cycle, and so this guy, the Xbox One X, left the market on a much better note than it entered. This actually was my first non-Nintendo console, so I have amassed a good collection of Xbox One games, but not as much as 360. And actually, this first one right here is my first Xbox One game, and it's Battlefield 1. Of course, I also have Battlefield 5. I have Borderlands 3. Call of Duty Black Ops 3. Call of Duty Infinite Warfare. Call of Duty World War II. It's all its glory, Cyberpunk 2077, and the weird little case it has here. Destiny. And of course, with that, Destiny 2. We have Doom 2016. We have Friday the 13th, the game, in a GameStop pre-owned case. Definitely need to get new box art for that. Gears of War 4. Gears 5. Halo 5. Halo the Master Chief Collection. Halo Wars 2. Minecraft Story Mode, the complete adventure. This is what I was talking about before with my Xbox 360 collection. We have No Man's Sky, a game which has turned out to be much nicer than it was at launch. Plants vs. Zombies, Garden Warfare. Rare Replay. Fantastic collection of all these rare games that I've been showing off. It has probably every single one of them, except for Donkey Kong 64, all the Donkey Kong games, since that is Nintendo's intellectual property. Star Wars Battlefront. And Star Wars Battlefront 2. Also have Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. Sunset Overdrive. Actually do have the Day 1 edition. I really don't know if that means anything. One little thing to show off, I guess. The Elder Scrolls Online. actually still in its packaging. Titanfall 2. Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Siege. Tom Clancy's The Division 2, also still in its packaging. And Wolfenstein: The New Order. Unlike Nintendo, the Xbox One did get support from third-party companies. In fact, that was a majority of what appeared on the Xbox One. That's what they were known for, as a third-party, and especially their indie games. It got the support that the Nintendo Wii U did not. Maybe it's a Nintendo Switch earlier. The Nintendo Wii U, and it was generally a good console. Sold about 50 million units at the end of its life. Of course, the PlayStation 4 knocked that out of the park, and that's what we'll be moving to now. And here we have the undisputed winner of this generation's console war, the PlayStation 4, with the PlayStation VR headset device. Both of these were so popular. Of course, the PlayStation 4 was going to get a sequel, but the PlayStation VR is actually getting a sequel soon. Hopefully, it has less cords than this one does, because this is, I'll tell you, a pain in the ass to set up. My PlayStation 4 collection, as I wasn't a big PlayStation gamer ever growing up, is not as big as my Xbox One, certainly not as big as my Wii U or Nintendo Switch collection. However, I do have quite a few games I'd like to show off today, starting with Call of Duty Black Ops 4. Got Call of Duty Infinite Warfare again. Actually, we do have it twice, one still in the packaging, ironically. Call of Duty Modern Warfare, the 2019 remake. Dark Souls 3. We have Death Stranding. Five Nights at Freddy's Help Wanted, PlayStation VR game. Horizon Zero Dawn. Madden NFL 20. Marvel Spider-Man Game of the Year edition. We have Minecraft on PlayStation 4. NBA 2K17. We actually have PlayStation VR Demo Disc 1, Demo Disc 2.0, and Demo Disc 3. Not really sure why they named this one 2.0, this other one 3. I guess it goes alright though. Rocket Arena Mythic Edition. Scribblenauts Mega Pack. I'm trying to figure out a better way to show these off. There we go. Super Hot VR. You'll notice this has the PEGI rating, which does show that this console is in fact region free, which is a great thing about it. We have Titanfall 2. Again, Tom Clancy's The Division. Uncharted 4, A Thief's End. And the Unravel Yarny bundle, again with the PEGI rating. All in all, the PlayStation 4, as much as I'm not a Sony fanboy, and I hate admitting this, was a fantastic console. There are many, many more games I don't have that could be recommended. I'm probably not the guy to approach on that. That being said, this was the last, technically, of the 8th generation. And so we'll move on to sort of the disputed beginner of the 9th generation, the Nintendo Switch. Now, as proof that Nintendo can actually bounce back from their failures, we have the Nintendo Switch. As of the making of this video, August 2022, there are 3 models of Nintendo Switch. The original right here, the Lite, which is a portable only version, and the OLED, which of course has an OLED screen. Not much big of a difference there, unless you start looking at the dock as well. I've already made a video on these. If you'd like to, go check it out. Otherwise, we're going to show off all the games. We have Animal Crossing New Horizons. ARMS, another new IP from Nintendo. Didn't really kick off, though. We got BioShock, The Collection. We We have the Borderlands Legendary Collection. We have Cave Story, Dark Souls Remastered, Empire of Sin, Fire Emblem Three Houses. Notice the PEGI rating again, which means that this console is also region free. Fantastic new addition to all major consoles. Fire Emblem Warriors, the Five Nights at Freddy's Core Collection, Game Builder Garage, Kirby and the Forgotten Land, Kirby Star Allies, Garfield Kart Furious Racing, best game out there, Luigi's Mansion 3, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, I say that very reluctantly, Mario Party Superstars, Paper Mario, the Origami, or is it? Yeah, the Origami King. It's a pretty divisive game by fans, but I actually quite enjoyed that one. Definitely recommend it. And then next I have Pokemon Legends Arceus, or Arceus. Oh, I actually have an event card for Legends Arceus. Pokemon Let's Go Eevee. Next we got Ring Fit Adventure. Fortunately, that's all the Pokemon games I have at the moment, although there are plenty to enjoy on Nintendo Switch. Sid Meier's Civilization 6. We got Sonic Forces Bonus Edition. We have Sonic Mania. Splatoon 2. Starlink Battle for Atlas has the gross micro SD required logo up here, which really screws with how nice the box art looks otherwise. We have Super Bomberman R, which admittedly I bought because I wanted games for the Switch when it first launched in March 2020, or March 2017. Why did I say 2020? Super Mario 3D All-Stars, a game that did come out around that time. It was actually discontinued in 2020. Still can find it everywhere. Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury. Super Mario Maker 2. Super Mario Odyssey. Super Mario Party. Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. The Elder Scrolls V Skyrim. Many platforms you can find this guy on. The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. The Outer Worlds. Actually, a good example if you're planning on developing a Nintendo Switch game. Great example of how to put download required, not on a giant bar on the top, a tiny little bar on the bottom. I do have The Witcher 3 Complete Edition. Xenoblade Chronicles 2. Hopefully you're going to add Xenoblade Chronicles 3 to my collection in due time. That's all I have, at least for physical Switch games. It might be fun to do a digital Switch game collection, because that's a whole different ball game right there. Next, we will move on to the consoles that are definitively next gen. And we'll start with, I believe, the Xbox Series S and X. Okay, so now we have two very different consoles over here. I mean, they're technically one and the same. You can see one I can actually fit on the screen without having to turn sideways. The other one is the Xbox Series X, to which you still don't really have a good view of it. I don't know what it is about this generation and why both the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X are so clunky. I both love it and hate it. I love my big boxes, but it is hard to put these guys on a screen to show off. Without further ado, though, let's get into the game since that's officially what we're looking at. I may actually move Series S. Nope, can't move it like that. I guess we'll leave it as is. Work around. First off, we have Among Us Crewmate Edition. I don't know if it shows it. Oh yeah, how fun is that? Shows off the fun little box art there. I have Battlefield 2042. Crusader Kings 3. Elden Ring. Now you may be wondering, it says Xbox Series X and Xbox One here. A fun little fact about any of these games. If it says Xbox Series X first, then it is optimized for the Series X and Series S. But of course, you can't really play these discs on a Series S. But if it says Xbox One first, before it says Xbox Series X, that means that it is playable on both, but it does not have any kind of special perks if you're playing on Series X. Just a fun little fact for you. So I tend to consider these games to be Series X since it seems like that's the way they're supposed to be played. We have Evil Dead, the game. We have Forza Horizon 5. Halo Infinite. It Takes Two. Lego Star Wars The Skywalker Saga. And Microsoft Flight Simulator. You will notice as well that they're not really consistent in how they've made these boxes. This one still has the old Xbox One style format. It doesn't say Xbox One, just says Xbox. But recently they've been getting into simply putting the logo on here, you know, without this little top piece of plastic on Flight Simulator. I've actually seen Xbox One games do the same kind of thing now, where Minecraft, even though it is just an Xbox One game, that it will have the lack of a plastic top. So quite interesting redesign by Microsoft. It's really confusing me. Not too happy about it. But this next console you're going to see doesn't have that issue. And here we are at last, at the end of our journey with this other behemoth, the PlayStation 5. I don't know, again, why they decided to make such big consoles this time around. I kind of like it, but I can't even show it without tilting it on its side. Without further ado, though, let's get into the few games I have for this thing. I have another copy of Among Us. Same kind of a fun little background here. I have Final Fantasy VII Remake plus Intergrade, right? No, it's just Remake Intergrade. Fantastic game, by the way. Would absolutely recommend. Probably in my top 10 games of all time at this point. We have Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach. Another fun one, which I have 100%ed. We have Horizon Forbidden West. Launch edition for that. We have Spider-Man Miles Morales. Fantastic game to start. Beautiful graphics on all of these, by the way. And Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart. Well, if you've made it this far, and you know this is the end of the video, I really want to congratulate you. I'm sure this is going to be one hefty video. If you've made it this far and you haven't liked or subscribed, you'd be kind of crazy not to. You know, I do make this kind of content every so often. I've been trying to figure out a good schedule in between playing my strategy games and making videos on game consoles and game collecting. So if you haven't done so already, please do consider that. Same thing with my girlfriend, who appeared for the PlayStation 2 segment of this video. Worked very hard to get this out in a timely manner. As I say that, and it's been like 3 months since I last uploaded. But hopefully this will be out very, very soon. Again, thank you so much for watching. Please consider supporting the channel if you have not already. And I will see you guys in the next one, which would hopefully not be another month away.